We're counting down the 10 remarkable foods you'll never need to replant. A definitive list of crops that return on their own year after year. From leafy greens that regrow with just a gentle snip, to fruits and herbs that multiply themselves underground or send out new shoots each spring, these resilient perennials offer fresh harvests with almost no extra effort. Perfect for gardeners who want reliable yields without constant digging or heavy lifting, each entry proves that set it and forget it truly works in the garden. Which crop can outlast droughts and thrive for decades with only the simplest care? Let's start our countdown with number 10. In the 10th place, sweet potatoes offer a set-and-forget approach that starts with slip propagation. Instead of planting seeds, gardeners grow slips, young vine cuttings, from mature tubers about 8 to 12 weeks before the last frost. Once slips reach 5 to 12 inches with several leaves, they root quickly in water or moist potting mix, ready for transplanting as soon as soil warms above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. For best results, use 1 slip per 40-liter tub or deep raised mound. Sweet potatoes thrive in full sun, needing at least 6 hours daily, and benefit from a loose, compost-rich soil mixed with coarse grit for drainage. Space each plant 30 to 40 centimeters apart so tubers have room to size up. The trick is to mulch with a 5-centimeter layer of straw, which keeps roots cool and locks in moisture. Water deeply once a week, doubling up during heat waves, and check with a finger. If the soil is dry more than 5 centimeters down, it's time to water. As vines sprawl, they root at each node, forming new tubers and thickening the harvest patch year after year. When leaves begin to yellow and lower stems die back in fall, it's time to harvest. Use a fork to gently lift mature tubers, leaving some roots behind for next season's growth. For those with limited mobility, waist-high containers make planting and digging easy on the back. Heat-adapted varieties like Georgia Jet and Beauregard mature quickly and produce generous yields, even in hot, dry summers. With a little mulch and deep watering, a single planting can keep producing for seasons to come. Number 9. Raspberries are the perennial fruit that spreads by sending up new canes from underground suckers each spring. Instead of relying on seeds or runners, these brambles quietly expand their patch through a network of shallow roots. The trick is containment. To keep raspberries from invading paths or neighboring beds, install a root barrier at least 60 centimeters deep, with the top edge a few centimeters above the soil. This stops most suckers in their tracks and keeps the patch tidy. For setup, choose a sunny bed about 2 meters wide, spacing plants 50 centimeters apart in compost-rich soil. Add a sturdy T-post and twine trellis, or train canes along a fence at waist height. Perfect for standing harvests without stooping. Mulch thickly with 5 centimeters of coarse compost to lock in moisture and block weeds. Water deeply every 8 to 10 days during fruiting, checking soil with a finger. If it's dry more than 5 centimeters down, it's time to soak. Harvest when berries detach with a gentle tug. For hot summers, try heat-tolerant varieties like Fall Gold or Anne, and add a strip of afternoon shade cloth if needed. With a little pruning each winter, removing 2-year-old canes at ground level, raspberries will keep producing for years. For seniors, espaliered rows at arm's reach make picking easy and accessible, turning a once wild patch into a reliable, low-effort harvest year after year. 8th place, oregano and thyme are the classic Mediterranean herbs that keep coming back, thriving where other crops struggle. Both regrow each spring from woody crowns, sending out fresh, fragrant shoots even after harsh winters or dry spells. Their secret is in the leaves, tiny, oil-rich, and silver or waxy to lock in moisture and fend off heat. For setup, fill a shallow raised bed or 25-centimeter pot with gritty, sandy soil and space each plant 20 to 30 centimeters apart. 6 or more hours of direct sun brings out the strongest flavor. But in scorching climates, a strip of 30% shade cloth in the afternoon protects the plants without sacrificing oil content. The trick is simple. Mulch with 5.6 centimeters of coarse organic bark, but keep the mulch clear from the base to prevent rot. Water deeply every 10 to 12 days in drought. Skip if a finger pressed into the soil stays cool and dry. Harvest lightly just before the plants bloom. This is when the oils peak, giving the most aroma and taste for kitchen use. Every few years, prune hard to keep the plants vigorous. For seniors, table height pots and lightweight snips make tending and harvesting easy with no need to bend or kneel. Greek oregano and English thyme are top choices for both flavor and resilience, rewarding gardeners with year-round seasoning for almost no extra effort. Number 7. Egyptian walking onions are the allium that truly lives up to its name. They literally walk across the bed, advancing their patch year after year. The secret is in the top-set bulbils. Each summer, these miniature onions form at the tip of tall stalks, then bend down and drop to the soil, rooting themselves just beyond the parent cluster. Over time, the patch shifts forward, creating a living, edible border. For setup, plant bulbs along the edge of a raised bed, spacing each 15 centimeters apart in sandy loam mixed with compost. 6 hours or more of sun brings out the best growth, while a 5.9 centimeter layer of fine compost mulch keeps roots cool and blocks weeds. The trick is timing. Leave some bulbils to fall and root and harvest the rest for cooking. Each bulbil is a bite-sized onion with a mild kick. The green shoots can be snipped like scallions, while outer bulbs are dug as needed, always leaving the central crown to renew. Deep soak every 6 to 8 days, checking with a finger. If the soil is dry past the mulch, it's time to water. For seniors or anyone who prefers to stand while gardening, bed edge planting means easy picking without bending. Egyptian walking onions thrive on neglect, surviving drought and poor soil, and their quirky, self-propagating habit makes them a conversation starter in any low-effort garden. Number 6. Kale is the leafy green that keeps on giving, especially if you pick the right variety and harvest with care. Perennial types like Red Russian and Lacinato are bred for endurance, sending up new leaves from a sturdy central crown long after annual kales have faded. The trick is simple. Snap or cut the outer leaves when they reach about the size of your hand, always leaving the inner rosette untouched. This signals the plant to keep producing fresh growth, allowing for steady bowls of greens week after week. Space each plant at least 50 centimeters apart in a deep bed. 30 to 40 centimeters is ideal, filled with rich compost-heavy soil. Mulch with a 6.2 centimeter layer of shredded leaves to hold moisture and keep roots cool. Water deeply every 7 to 9 days, checking with a finger for dryness below the mulch. During heat waves, drape a 30% shade cloth over the bed to prevent leaves from turning tough or bitter. As plants mature, their taproots dig deep, making them more drought-proof than most greens. But even the hardiest kale can get woody after a few years, so take cuttings to renew your patch when growth slows. For seniors or anyone with limited mobility, waist-high planters and vertical beds make harvesting easy, no stooping required. With the right care, perennial kale transforms a single planting into a reliable supply of nutrient-rich leaves, season after season. Number 5. Mint is the herb that never knows when to quit. Unstoppable in a pot, but pure trouble in the ground. The secret is in the shallow rhizomes, which race around just under the soil, sending up new shoots wherever they find a gap. That's why experienced gardeners insist on growing mint only in containers. Choose a lightweight pot at least 30 centimeters wide, with plenty of drainage holes. Fill it with loose, compost-rich soil and set the pot where it gets morning sun and a little afternoon shade, especially in hot climates. The trick is a mulch ring. Lay 6.5 centimeters of organic mulch right around the crown, but not touching the stems, to keep roots cool and cut back on watering. Mint is forgiving. Wait until the top 3 centimeters of soil feel dry, then water deeply, usually every 5 to 7 days. For seniors or anyone with limited mobility, a rolling caddy puts the pot at table height, making harvest easy without bending. The best flavor comes from pinching off stem tips just before the plant flowers. This keeps new leaves coming all year. Try heat-tolerant Moroccan spearmint for reliable growth in scorching summers. If a dry spell hits, mint may pause, but as soon as rain returns, it rebounds with fresh shoots. One planting can supply endless sprigs for tea, salads, or even homemade tzatziki. Just remember, keep it in a pot, and you'll never have to replant or wrestle with runaway roots. Number 4. Strawberries are the fruit that multiplies itself. One planting can fill a whole bed in just a season or two. The secret is in the runners, or stolons, that snake out from each mother plant. Wherever a runner touches moist soil or mulch, it roots and forms a new daughter plant, ready to bear fruit the next year. For gardeners who want a patch that keeps renewing itself, this is as close to magic as it gets. The trick is in the setup. A shallow trough or window box just 20 to 25 centimeters deep is enough, as long as it's filled with compost-rich soil and spaced 25 to 30 centimeters between plants. For seniors or anyone who prefers to garden standing up, waist-high trough planters or bag planters with handles put berries right at arm's reach. Mulch is essential. Lay down 6.8 centimeters of straw to protect the shallow roots, hold moisture, and keep berries clean. Full sun brings out the best flavor, but in hot zones, a strip of 30% shade cloth in the afternoon prevents leaf scorch and keeps fruit from spoiling. Watering is straightforward. Set a drip line to run twice a week while fruiting, and add an extra soak every 5 days during heat waves. To manage the runners, let a few root in place each season to renew the bed, but snip off extras to prevent overcrowding. Day-neutral varieties like Seascape are reliable even in warm climates, producing berries through long summers. Harvest when the berries are fully red and lift away with no tug. If they resist, give them another day. With gentle picking and a little runner training, strawberries will keep coming back, filling baskets and planters year after year. Number 3, garlic chives are the kitchen green that quietly multiplies itself in both pots and garden beds. No replanting, just fresh blades season after season. The secret is in their growth. Garlic chives expand both by dropping seeds and by dividing their clump-forming crowns. Letting some flower heads mature means seeds will fill bare patches, while snipping off spent blooms keeps the patch tidy and prevents overgrowth. For a contained bed, space each plant about 15 centimeters apart in rich, sandy compost, and mulch with a 7-centimeter layer of fine compost to lock in moisture and block weeds. Garlic chives thrive in shallow troughs or bowls at least 20 centimeters deep, perfect for rolling carts or table height setups that make harvesting easy for seniors. Afternoon shade helps in hot climates, but these flat, waxy blades shrug off drought once the roots are established. The trick is in the harvest. Wait until the blades reach 15 centimeters, then snip what you need just above the crown, always leaving at least half the plant to regrow. For a steady supply, divide the clumps every 3 years to avoid overcrowding and keep the patch vigorous. Water is simple. Keep soil moist for new seedlings, then switch to a deep soak every week or so once plants are mature. If you want a compact, container-friendly option, try garlic geisha. It stays tidy and produces dense, flavorful greens right on the patio. With minimal effort, garlic chives deliver a reliable harvest for dumplings, omelets, or salads, making them a must-have for any low-maintenance kitchen garden. In second place, rhubarb stands as a spring staple that returns year after year, even after harsh winters or dry summers. The secret lies beneath the soil, a woody crown and thick rhizomes that store energy through every season, sending up crisp red-green stalks each spring. To keep a rhubarb patch thriving for decades, start with a single crown, spacing each at least 1 meter apart. These plants need room to expand. Raised mounds or deep beds filled with rich compost give the roots space to dig deep, while a 7.4 centimeter layer of coarse compost mulch buffers temperature swings and holds moisture. In hot zones, partial afternoon shade protects the leaves from scorching, but morning sun is essential for strong growth. The trick is in restraint. Only pull stalks when they are thick and upright. always leaving at least a third of the stalks on each plant to fuel next year's growth. Snap stalks off at the base with a gentle twist, but never eat the leaves. They contain toxic oxalates and must be discarded. During prolonged heat, water deeply every 10 to 14 days, checking with a finger. If the soil is dry more than 7 centimeters down, it's time to soak. Raised ring beds or deep containers at waist height make tending and harvesting easy for seniors, reducing strain and allowing for a comfortable seeded harvest. For those in warmer climates, the Victoria variety stands out for its heat resilience and reliable yields. With careful crown care, proper spacing, and the right mulch, rhubarb can reward a single planting with pie-worthy stalks for 20 years or more, a testament to the endurance that sustained our grandparents through lean springs. And finally, in first place, nothing matches the staying power of asparagus. Once established, a single bed can deliver crisp green spears every spring for 15 years or more, often outlasting the gardener who planted it. The secret lies underground. Asparagus develops a deep, fibrous crown that stores energy through every season, sending up new shoots as soon as the soil warms. But patience is required at the start. Crowns need 2 to 3 years to settle in before the first real harvest. Time spent building roots that can reach over a meter down. For success, dig a bed at least 45 to 60 centimeters deep and fill it with loose, compost-rich soil. Space each crown 45 to 60 centimeters apart, giving the roots room to spread wide and deep. The trick is in the mulch. Spread a thick 7.7 centimeter layer of straw over the bed to insulate the crowns and hold moisture. Water deeply about once a week during dry spells, checking with a finger to see if the soil is dry more than 7 centimeters below the surface. When spring arrives, thick spears push through the mulch. Harvest them by snapping each stalk at soil level. For seniors, a raised bed at waist height means harvesting can be done sitting down. Just a gentle snap, and the spear is ready for the table. Only cut spears for about 6 weeks each spring. Then let the stems grow tall and feathery. These ferns recharge the crown for next year's crop. With just a yearly mulch top-up and deep watering during drought, asparagus will keep coming back, stronger each season. For hot or dry gardens, varieties like Mary Washington and UC 157 are bred for resilience, thriving where lesser crops fail. Plant once, wait patiently, and asparagus rewards with decades of effortless harvests, a living testament to the promise of a self-sustaining garden. From sweet potatoes that reroot from cuttings, to the deep-rooted asparagus that can provide spears for over 15 years, this list has showcased 10 foods you'll truly never need to replant. Across all entries, a clear pattern emerges. Resilient root systems, self-spreading habits, and the power of perennial crowns make these crops remarkably self-sustaining. Some, like Egyptian walking onions and garlic chives, surprise by literally moving or seeding themselves into new ground, while others, like mint, require only a bit of containment to provide endless harvests. At the top, asparagus and rhubarb stand out for their multi-decade productivity and almost effortless returns each spring. Every crop qualified by making it possible to harvest again and again with minimal replanting, thanks to nature's built-in renewal strategies. Together, these foods reveal that a thriving garden doesn't have to mean starting from scratch every year. Instead, perennial and regrowing crops offer sustainable abundance, requiring only patience, simple care, and a little mulch. That's the enduring secret of perennial gardening. Plant once, harvest for years.